Kenyon Cherry getting it done on both ends with this impressive INT. And that would lead to this. He can play both sides of the ball, folks. Cherry takes the handoff and says, meet me in the end zone. Madison Academy walks away with a convincing win, 42-6.
So there you have it. It's Madison Academy that moves to 1-0 with the win, and they'll be tested again next week when they take on Randolph.
Now let's move our attention to Morgan County for this one. Decatur under first-year head coach Aaron Savage, hoping to build on a 9-3 record from last year as they take on May Jemison tonight. And hosting the Jags at Oval Stadium, it's a battle between the Red Raiders and the Jemison Jaguars. Not too long into the first quarter, Decatur Cedar cornerback Brandon Duper throws a laser to tight end Wyatt Smith, who was right there to give the Raiders an early lead. The Red Raiders wouldn't take their foot off the gas either. Duper gets out of the pocket and says, wide receiver, put Webster, I got you, buddy. The Red Raiders now up by 14. And as the lights came on, the Red Raiders kept going. Junior wideout Trey Greenwell takes the pass from Duper and pushes through the day, saying, not today, to extend the lead by 21. Decatur gets their first win of the Aaron Savage era as they move to 1-0 with a 54-14 win.
Speaking of 6A Region 8 teams, the Lee High School Generals were at home tonight, hoping that their season at the newly renovated Milton Franks Stadium would begin with a win as they were taking on Westminster Christian. And man, was this a good one. Both teams fought tooth and nail tonight. Early, Westminster would take a lead thanks to some stellar defense. How about the big sack there? But the Generals would respond to an early 6-0 Wildcats lead after two previous 50-plus yard touchdowns were called back. The Generals were due one, and they got one. Carlin Long with the touchdown scamper to tie things up at 6, but Westminster would respond right back. The Wildcats have some playmakers now, like Charles Billings, the sophomore, picking up a first down here, and that would lead to this dime from who else but Brandon Mush. Kyle Everleth with the touchdown reception to reclaim a lead. Add on a 2-point conversion from the scoring machine Mush, and it was a 14-6 lead for the Wildcats. Lee, though, they would battle throughout the night. They come from behind. They move to 1-0 with a 44-34 win.
Tonight in Harvest, Sparkman and Hazel Green took the field in a game that didn't get underway until 8 o'clock due to heat advisories in the area. And first-year head coach Ronnie Watson hoping the Senators could make a good first impression week 0. A year ago, it was Hazel Green that took it to the Senators in that opening game. But 2023 is a new year, and the Senators were looking for revenge, and they came out firing. Check out this jot from Josh Ward to Brian Nance. And yes, Mr. Nance, it is a first down. That would lead to a touchdown for the Senators. Ward again, this one to the flats for Amari Jabbar, and he's going to find his way in the end zone for the first score of the night. Hazel Green would try to respond. Handoff to Darius Burwell. He's going to make a man miss on a pretty good run, but the ball pops out. Sparkman recovers, and they have all the momentum. Just a few plays later, it's another bomb from Josh Ward, connecting with Jonathan Rozier for another touchdown strike. Sparkman hoping to get their first win of the era. They currently lead 31-0 as of our last update.
Yeah, Grissom, another 7A Region 4 team hoping to make an impression week 1. They hit the road to take on a talented Russellville Golden Tigers team tonight. Let's head out to Franklin County to check in on this 6A, 7A showdown. Handoff to Cam Fitzgerald wants to get things started. Check out this man. He's going to find a seam. He's down the sideline. He's going to get a big gain on this one before he's finally pushed out of bounds. And he's going to get paid off for that big run as well. They give it to him on the goal line. He's in for the score as they would take an early lead. Add on some stout defense for the Golden Tigers, and what you get, well, it's a win. The Golden Tigers, they get a week 0 victory, 35-20 over Grissom.
It's a busy night, but it's already time for us to call our first time out of the show.
Yeah, but don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. Coming up next, how about we talk our big game Friday night rivalry game of the week. Welcome back into Big Game Friday Night. Let's head to Austin for our Big Game Friday Night rivalry game of the week. The Morgan County rivals meeting indicator tonight with the Black Bears looking for their first win over the Tigers since 2020.
Jumping in the second half, up by 2 scores, Tiger quarterback Judd Bailey trying to start things right with a pass off to Gavin Fuqua, who's going to pick up a nice gain. Now, don't count the Black Bears out just yet. They get a huge pick-6 takeaway from the Tigers to get the ball rolling. But the Black Bears could never catch up to the Tigers, with drive after drive ending in the Tigers defense shutting the door, and they would win 28-17, snapping Hartzell's 23-game regular season win streak. We caught up with head coach Jeremy Perkins after the big win.
Getting us battle-tested right off the bat and being able to find a way to win. We struggled a little bit in the second half. Hartzell played a lot better in the second half. We didn't put them away, but we found a way.
Of course, that matchup is not our only rivalry showdown that Week 0 had to offer.
Yeah, I can say that again, Max. Tonight at Madison County, the Tigers welcomed county foe Buckhorn to town to kick off their 2023 season. And what an atmosphere it was out at Tiger Stadium. It's a late kick that, with the packed stands on both sides of the field, Madison County down 7-zip early. Lucas Putman under center. They'll run the option. Perfect pitch to Deontay Hill. He'll stumble and rumble his way into the end zone as they get 6 points back. The Tigers would go for and fail on the conversion, so they trail like Buckhorn on this one. The Bucks, though, they would opt to go for it on 4th. That's a mistake. Jack Root looking for the end zone. Josh Clark says, not in my house. Coming down with the INT to keep things close. This game started at 8. It's still rolling as we speak. As for our last update, though, we did get a final within the last few seconds. The Buckhorn Bucks, they win it on the road, 42-25.
Sticking with the county rival theme, it's another game that didn't get underway until 8. West Limestone hit the road to take on Ardmore to begin their season. Ardmore off to a shaky start in the home opener, 2 penalties in the first 3 plays, and then a turnover. West Limestone's Dawson Mewborn hauls in an interception on a long pass, and the Tiger faithful start to sweat early. And I mean sweat. You know it's hot when they're bringing a fan to the game, and maybe it was the sweaty hands because the Tigers' first play of the second possession is another turnover, and John Winter covers the fumble deep in Tiger territory. 3 plays later, the Wildcats captain Easton Smith barrels in from 3 yards out, giving West Limestone the early lead on this hot and humid night in Ardmore. West Limestone would go on to take this one 16-7 for a perfect start to the year.
At Phil Campbell tonight, the Bobcats were hosting their rival from just over the border, Hackleburg. Early on, it's Hackleburg driving deep into Phil Campbell territory. Blaze victory. He's going to fire a bullet, but it won't reach the intended receiver. Ethan Holman there to take it the other way as the Bobcats step up on defense. And you got to show off a little bit after a big play like that. The problem is they fall victim to the same play. This time, it's Haston Scott looking for Chandler Binford, but Hackleburg's Edge Weeks grabs it. He's going to take it all the way back. Call it a pick party, if you will. Later, the Panthers decide to try scoring on offense this time. Jaquan Reeder is going to take a direct snap, and he's going to have a pretty good play on this one. He's around the edge. He's going to respond with a score of his own. Bobcats, though, they pull out a win at home on opening night, 22-20.
Going from west to east, let's head out to DeKalb County for this next one. Fort Payne at home hosting Scottsboro for their season opener. And the road squad was wasting no time tonight. On the second play of the game, Scottsboro's Keenan Alvarez breaks out for a 78-yard touchdown run. The sprint was so fast that not only could no one catch him, our cameraman couldn't even get him in focus. Now that is blazing speed for the lead. A few moments later, Scottsboro has 3rd and 1 at midfield when the Fort Payne defense forces a fumble. Now it's a forced fumble and not a fumble loss as the Wildcats recover. Scottsboro already up 1 score when Alvarez breaks free once again. This time it's going to be for a 39-yard scamper. Man, when that guy gets his eyes on the end zone, it is over. The Wildcats go on to win this one 56-51.
Yeah, plenty of more scores to get to here before we take our second break. We'll keep the spotlight on 2A. North Sand Mountain beating Valley Head tonight 15-0, and the Falkville Blue Devils, get a big win over Vinemont, 26-20. Of course, you can check out all the scores on the website, WAAYTV.com, under sports. They'll be updated throughout the night. Well, it's already time for us to take that second timeout of the evening.
But you don't want to go anywhere because when WAAY 31 returns, we set our sights on Class 4A Region 8. Still plenty of fun to get to.
Curry Van and Car Rental. Big game Friday night.
We're the Deshler Marching Tigers, and you're watching Big Game Friday night on WAAY 31.
The introduction of our starting lineup, Deshler Tigers.
All right, they were rocking it tonight at Deshler. A big congratulations to the Deshler High School Marching Band on being named this week's Star Market Spirit Award winners.
The Deshler's Marching Tigers stand 75 members strong and were the 2021 4A state runner-up. Pretty incredible performances are a reason why Deshler is such a special place to be on Friday night. But of course, let's get back to the football action. Randolph looking in some 4A Region 8 action tonight.
Yeah, a great matchup and atmosphere at Randolph tonight, and a good game too. Early on, the Raiders came out with some fire. How about the big D lineman, Hunter Wiggins, coming up with a vicious sack? But West Morgan would continue to keep their foot on the gas this drive. Stop me if you heard this one before. Jalen Fletcher making men miss and outrunning them to the pylon. It's a 7-0 early lead for the Rebels. But Randolph, they would have a response. Check out the dump off for William Collins, and he's got some daylight. Down the sideline, look out, straight for your living room. He's into the red zone to set up first-year starter William Mitchell. He's got some big shoes to fill, and he's living up to those expectations. Diving in for 6, touchdown Randolph. It's a tie game early on Garth Road. In the end, though, the West Morgan Rebels, they take home the win 41-20.
Another 4A team hoping to move to 1-0 on the year with the Priceville Bulldogs, who are hosting the Plainview Bears. We're going to pick this one up with Plainview driving on the Bulldogs. Toss to Owen Hope, and he's around the left side, down the sideline, and he picks up a first down for the Bears. But that drive would stall, and it would be the Bulldogs' turn to try to get something going. And quarterback Jake England has some moves. He's going around the far side, and he's moving the chains for Priceville. That drive would continue. This time, Riley Wagg finds some open space, and look out, he's coming right for your living room. First down, Priceville, but in the end, it's the Plainview Bears that pull off the upset of the Bulldogs. Priceville moves to 1-0 with a 21-14 win.
Yeah, big win there for Plainview. Let's stay in Marshall County for this next one. The Gunnersville Wildcats were at home tonight to begin their season, hosting Southside tonight. It was a great crowd, as always, at Gunnersville, and man, was it a defensive battle early on. The Wildcats trying to get something going early with this run from Inelson Delva. He picks up a few, but the Wildcats would have to punt following that play, and that's when Southside would go to work. Mason Teague with some hard running here. Check out my man going to work to pick up a first down for the Panthers. The Wildcat D would stand strong. This time, Teague again, and this time the senior from Gunnersville, Brooks Frazier, gets his head in there for the big hit. Southside took a 7-0 lead into the break, and in the end, though, it's Gunnersville that takes this one, coming from behind to win 14-10.
Out at Woodville, it's the Panthers hosting Whitesburg Christian, searching for revenge after losing 47-8 in their only previous meeting a year ago. And if you ask me, it's a tough night to be wearing black, but the home squad says, you know what, we're going to do it anyway. But they couldn't get it done early. Sam Peak with the handoff to Ace Weaver, and instead they hand the ball over to Whitesburg on the fumble, but they wouldn't have to wait long to get it back. Kaylee Robinson back to pass on 4th down, and it's Knox Wakongo with an acrobatic interception to send things back the other way. This time the Panthers pounce. Peak on the keeper, and he'll shake and bake his way through the D for a 6-pointer. The home squad would go on to win the opener 40-0. And just like that, it's already time for us to take our third and final timeout of the night.
Yeah, but when we come back, we'll turn the spotlights on some of the other games from the weekend. Of course, we'll finish things off with Big Game Friday night. Top lights.
You're watching Big Game Friday night. Go
right, welcome back into Big Game Friday Night, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for the first Friday night of high school football in North Alabama. But today wasn't the first day of the season. We had a busy night last night as well.
Yeah, the East Limestone Indians were hoping to beat their crosstown rivals, the Athens Golden Eagles, and it wouldn't take long for the action to get started. On the first play from scrimmage, Jay-Sean Riggle takes the handoff, cuts it upfield, kicks it into another gear, and just like they drew it up, first play of the season is an Athens Eagles touchdown. They go up 7-0. Offense was no issue for Athens in the first half. Henson fires one to wide receiver Riggle, and watch him go, making multiple defenders miss en route to his second score of the first half. Man, this kid is special. Golden Eagles up 21-0. But East Limestone had some fight in them. In the second quarter, Jake Cochran takes the snap, surveys the field, moves left all day to throw, and launches this one into the end zone. Contender for play of the year right there. Jordan Moore absolutely mossed the defender for the score, and it's Athens that runs away with this one as they take down the Indians on the road 63-14.
In Marshall County, we had a county showdown against Arab in Albertville last night, and man, this atmosphere, something to see. The Albertville Aggies hoping for a good start under new head coach Burt Brown, while Lee Osment is hoping his Knights can claim another region title this year, and they would face an early fourth down. Drew Puccio's helmet pulled off, ending the play. Albertville gets an early turnover on downs. But after a 3-and-out, the Knights were knocking again. This time, it's a handoff to Logan Aldridge, who makes one cut. He finds Pater. Arab on the board, 6-0. It wouldn't take long for the Knights to be in the red zone again. Luke Hudson catches this dump off, powers his way inside the 20. And that's when Puccio gets his revenge for that helmet coming off earlier. Read option, pull. Just too fast, beats the defender to the pylon for 6. Arab moves to 1-0 with a 34-6 beatdown of the Aggies. All right, well, before we sign off for the night, we would like to take this time to thank our radio sponsors for making tonight's show possible. We could not do it without all of these very special partners of ours, and we'd also like to have a special thank you for everyone that helps make this show possible. From our production, our EP, Sarah Jones, everyone, James Hessler, graphics, our news director, Steven. He was on the sideline shooting games for us tonight in Ardmore. It was a great night for high school football. It's a big, big team that makes this possible. We could, of course, not do it without you all that tune in each and every Friday night. Thank you so much for making WAAY 31 your home for high school football on every Friday night.
And to finish this week's show, we're going to do the same thing we do for you every single week. Take all the big plays, put them together, and it's, you know what it is? It's your Big Game Friday Night Top Lights.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
We got him! We got him! And the carry number 3.